Hi, everybody. This is Symphonic Elk, and I am coming at you with my 26th comic book haul. It's going to include some books from New Comic Book Day, which I will hopefully go through very quickly. It will also include some variant covers and other cool covers that I've picked up over the last week, and some keys. And I have, I think, a couple of good ones that I've gotten over the last week as well. But before I get started with the haul, I wanted to address the, I guess, quote unquote, controversy that um, popped up over the weekend in our community. And what I'm speaking of, and again, controversy is probably not the right word, but it's just the one that comes to mind. Speaking of the video that the Great Truth, or excuse me, the Great Legend Show's Truth video on Friday, and then Joker 68's follow up video that was either posted Friday night or sometime on Saturday. Um, anyway, I'm going to quickly paraphrase. Well, I don't know how quickly, but I will paraphrase what happened. But I'll also go ahead and link the videos in the description. I think you should go watch the videos. I think a lot of good points were made on both sides of the quote unquote argument. And everyone's cooled down. Again, this is really mild for anything that could be considered a controversy. I mean, this would not make it on the air and the Real Housewives of the YouTube comic book community. But there were a lot of good points. I'm going to paraphrase the my take on what was said and where I agree with both of them, and then also disagree a bit. So on Friday night, Rob came on to do his True Show, which I totally recommend you giving a watch if you don't already. I mean, considering he has like over 10 times the subscribers that I have, there's a good chance that you've already watched it. But he came on and he was talking about being inspired by ETA Nick and a couple of the other Reaper Tate, a couple of the other really the big guns in the community, some of the guys that have and purchase like the really high end books, and their collections are amazing. And he was inspired by them, and in conjunction in their approach to collecting, and then in conjunction with his, I mean, honestly, he never used the word, but his disdain for people who are bandwagon collectors, are people who buy books when they get hot based off movie news and whatever else. And one of his examples was people who are going out and picking up some of the more expensive Venom books. We're talking about ASM 300 Lethal Protector, although in and of itself is not actually that expensive, but compared to where it was a couple of years ago, where you could get it for a quarter or 50 cents, it's much more expensive now. And if you're talking about getting the gold variant, or if you have the misprints, the white or the black one, we're talking about some real money. And he used some words that I don't think were. I think they muddied his argument because they made it personal to some people, and including, say, Joker 68, and that's why he made a response video. I don't necessarily think he was super off on what he was saying. He was talking about FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. The Doom has talked about this before, and how he is trying to change his approach to collecting. That in the past, when he sees someone show something, he's read about it coming up, and he's worried about missing out on it. So he buys it, and he's maybe making purchases that are either ones that he doesn't really want, or are at the wrong quote unquote time, from a valuation standpoint. And he was talking about these people again, using Venom as the example, and how Venom's been a cool character for a long time. And he was had some words that he probably shouldn't have used. I'm talking about people being stupid, that, insinuating that they deserve what they get, meaning that when the book goes down, in a couple of weeks, months, years, that they're going to be left holding the bag, but it's at their own fault, and then use the way that other people collect. Again, ETA Nick and some of these other guys as holding them up as the way you should collect, and that's where the problem is. He's not wrong necessarily. It's probably not, from a financial standpoint, a particularly good idea right now to pick up something like ASM 300 unless you get a good deal on it. I mean, those do exist. You can find them, but people collect for the reasons that they want to collect, and if they have money, are the means just in general. So they've maybe collected sports cards or something, and they're changing their collections over from a sports card centric collection by selling or trading off that stuff, and picking up keys that they want for in comic books. Then that should be fine. So you should not go in to debt for comic books. Let me start by saying that now. I don't care what comic book it is. You should not go into debt for it. You should, unless you know that you can sell it right away, you probably shouldn't go into debt. I don't care what comic book you send into the electric company. They're not going to accept it in lieu of payment. They want cash. So, there is some mindfulness about the money side of this, and trying to pick things up when they're at a reasonable price, trying to I guess speculate, but none of us necessarily knew years ago that they were going to make a Venom movie, and we certainly didn't know that Lethal Protector was going to be the book that they're basing it off of. So acting like people should know that they're going to want this book in the future ahead of time is, and calling them stupid for not knowing that. It's the optics of that argument are probably not good. Also saying what you say is the truth. Because the truth has a definition. It's it's something based in fact, but it's not fact. It's opinion. Probably again isn't the best look, and I'm saying all of this thing that Legend is an awesome dude. When Gills 311 was looking to sell some books and auction off some stuff for comics for Cody, his the cancer patient that he's helping out. Legend stepped up to bat and helped Gills out, got the word out, and allowed him to sell the books for probably more than he would have gotten if he had done it himself. So he's not a bad dude, not at all. But you have to watch the words that you use, and I know that it can be difficult when you're doing this off of the cuff, which I'm doing right now, and I'm probably doing a poor job. And man, Legend's great at it. Really good at it. Like, his voice is amazing. But dude, you can't call people stupid. People collect for the way they want to collect, as long as they're not digging their family into a hole or themselves into a hole that which they can't get out. It just doesn't matter, man. It sucks that it raises the price of the books for people who want to get it. And maybe it's not great investment advice. It's not like buying Apple at stock at its highest is kind of stupid. But like it is what it is. People are going to collect for the reason they want to, and you can disagree with it. You can say that you think there's a better way, and as long as essentially you're saying for yourself there is a better way, but that's you, then that's fine. I would also caution against having auctions, because essentially the books that you were banging people for for buying are a lot of the books that show up on the auctions. Maybe not that you're selling, but that some of the other guys are. And this is kind of ridiculous. Um, Now to talk about Joker 68. This, he wasn't feeling good, and he responded. He didn't like what Legend had to say, and he essentially, said kind of what I'm saying, which is that people collect for whatever reason, and it doesn't matter, and it's not up to you to pass judgment, especially so verbally, or vocally, excuse me. But with that said, Joker, I mean, really, like, he went after Rob, and that wasn't right. He used words that weren't fair. I mean, you can watch the video, and that Rob's coming from a good place. He gets on a roll, and it kind of takes, it's a life of its own. But he does too much for the community. He does too much for all of us. Yeah, he probably could have used different words and should have used different words, but we don't. You don't fight back saying "get off your high horse" and some of the other things that Kurt said. Understandably, he was upset, and on top of that, he's not feeling well right now. But we should, make an effort to um, be better community members, and also probably have a little empathy for the way people collect. We don't know why they're doing what they're doing. It's some of what Joker 68 was saying. Like, you don't. Tomorrow's not promised, and for some of us, and I'm not including myself because I'm not one of these people. Some of us are sick, and we know that tomorrow's not promised. And man, if you want to get ASM 300 and you want to pay $1,000 right now for it, and more power to you, man. We don't have to understand why people collect what they collect. For example, if you ever look at my little title card, it says Symphonic Elk CCC. That was the CCC was to stand for comic condition calamity, because generally speaking, the books that I have are some serious keys. I mean, like, I've got some heavy hitters. I'm not going to lie. I mean, my collection's up there with, I wouldn't say with the best of them, but definitely with, some of the better collections. But, that doesn't necessarily mean that my Fantastic Four #1, and I mean Volume 1 #1, it's not a 9.8 or even a 7.5. I mean, it's a little bit less than that, or a lot less than that, but I still have it. So that's the way I collect. I sometimes have a hard time understanding why I can go out and get a book in very fine condition, probably not graded, and I can pay X amount of money. Or I can get it in a 9.8 and pay 2, 3, 4 times as much. And I just don't get that. Now, part of it is that I don't plan to sell these books. I don't generally buy. If you ever notice, when I get doubles of books, I give them away. Almost always. And I mean, including big ones. I mean, I give away some of my bigger doubles. I don't tend to trade and sell, that kind of stuff. So I understand, when you're, if you're buying just as an investment, 9.8 is which one. But when it comes for the PC, I don't understand that. But you know what? It's not stupid. There's a lot of good reasons to do it that way. And if it makes you happy, then that's what you should do. We're in the business of making YouTube videos for something that is a first world want. I mean, we're not talking about food, or water, or housing, or transportation. I mean, we're talking about comic books. And even on top of that, we're usually talking about comic books that we're not going to read. We're talking about comic books that we're going to put in Mylar if we're smart. Poly if we're not. Just joking. And yeah, it's just, let's be kind to one another. Let's find a way to let people know what we think, to advise them, to do our best. But let's not be dicks doing it. And not to say that either Joker our legend were being dicks. But sometimes people are. We can and should be better than that. Expect better than that. You know. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. And since I'm 15 minutes in, I will just make a separate video for my haul, and I'll just show you those books later. Again, Legend, Joker, I love you both. You are amazing community members. Joker, the fact that you can put videos out when you feel the way that you do, it amazes me, and we're blessed to have you in the community. Um, Legend, your voice, man, it is a voice made for radio, but you have a face made for YouTube. So that's pretty awesome. It's not a combination that a lot of us have. Some of us have the voice, maybe not as good as yours, but we have a face definitely made for radio. Anyway, so both of you guys, as Beauty Comics likes to say, love you. Um, y'all are the best. But hey, we don't all have our best every day. Optics are important. Anyway, thanks for everything you do. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with me. Have a good one. Bye.